Today we're going to be covering 2 Nephi 20 through 25, which is by and large the Isaiah chapters. I mean, 2 Nephi 25 is Nephi summing it up, but 20 through 24 are in Isaiah. And chapter 20 of 2 Nephi is covering the time period of Isaiah's day. Remember, Isaiah lived in the 8th century BC. So right around 740 BC is when Isaiah is writing these things. And in 721 BC, so in Isaiah's time period, the Assyrian Empire comes down into Israel, and they're grasping Israel by the throat. In my mind's eye, I see Darth Vader holding up by the throat this rebel soldier, and this is really what Assyria is doing. They're choking off the power, the military might of the nations of the ancient world. Their march down into Israel starts in 2 Nephi 20, verse 28. And so imagine the fear that you would have if you were King Hezekiah and you were watching these armies, or you were getting reports of these armies coming to destroy the people that live in this area where Isaiah lives. Now, Hezekiah looks to Isaiah for direction. At this time, King Hezekiah is the king of Jerusalem. The 12 tribes of Israel are divided into a northern and southern kingdom, and the 10 tribes in the north are ruled by a separate king, but Isaiah lives in Jerusalem, we think in the king's court, and he is associated with Hezekiah. So Hezekiah, once again, is the king of Jerusalem, the southern 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, and the northern tribes are led by a coalition of 10 tribes. They're led by another king. And those 10 tribes, many of them are taken captive into the lands of Assyria, and this is known today as the scattering of the 10 tribes. They become lost to history, and this is all going to be happening in Isaiah's day. But once again, Isaiah is a prophet in the king's court, and the king is Hezekiah. He is going to look to Isaiah for advice because Isaiah is a prophet, and Isaiah, by speaking to the Lord, is going to be able to communicate to Hezekiah military plans. Hey, this is what we should do. This is how we should handle this threat from the mighty Assyrian army. And then 2 Nephi 21 is Isaiah 11, and this is an image of a tree. And even if the tree is cut down, it will grow back. It's an image that Christ will come, that there'll be a stem of Jesse that will come. It's a great message of hope. We see this message of hope extended into chapter 22, which is Isaiah 12, and then we shift a little bit, and we have this message of being true in captivity. That's Isaiah 13 and 14, or 2 Nephi 23 and 24. You see, historically, after the Assyrian Empire falls, another empire rises up, and that is Babylon. And after Isaiah passes away, and in Nephi's day, so about 100 years after Isaiah, the nation of Babylon rises up, and Babylon becomes the next big empire that is ruling and oppressing the nations. And Lehi knows that Babylon will take over Jerusalem. And that's why Lehi wanted to leave Jerusalem. Now, just remember that in 721 BC, the 10 tribes are scattered by Assyria. And so after they're scattered, all that's left are a couple tribes in Jerusalem, and one of them is the tribe of Judah. And that's what's there when Lehi is there. And Isaiah sees in the future that Babylon will take over. And because of this, he offers a message of hope to the Jews that live there to stay true in captivity, and to know, one of the big messages of Isaiah 13 and 14 is to know that as mighty as the king of Babylon may seem, he will go down. So in 2 Nephi 25, Nephi then pauses and says, hey, this is why I'm using Isaiah. Nephi sees that Isaiah understands the plan. Now, a lot of Isaiah's words are written in political speech of his day. He's talking about the things of his day. But Nephi sees it with new eyes, revelatory eyes, where he sees that this is a message of Christ and the Messiah. And he sees also that the Jews will be scattered and they will be gathered. He sees the big picture, the big story. And to him, the message is this: once they come to receive Christ and believe in him, everything will be put back. And I love this passage in 2 Nephi 25, where Nephi says in verse 17 that the Lord will set his hand again the second time to restore his people from their lost and fallen state. Wherefore he will proceed to do a marvelous work and a wonder among the children of men. He shall bring forth his words unto them, which words shall judge them at the last day, for they shall be given them for the purpose of convincing them of the true Messiah, who was rejected by them. Nephi sees that one day the Jews will be brought to Christ, that the Lord's people will be restored, and that they will believe in the Messiah. And Nephi sees this as he reads the words of Isaiah. And that's why he is including them in his record. The words of Isaiah are so important to Nephi, and I think it applies to us to be true even when we're in danger, and that's kind of the Assyrian passages where the Assyrians are coming, and to be true even when we're in captivity. And those are the Babylonian chapters in 2 Nephi 23 and 24. And so wherever we are in this world, we can be faithful. We can be faithful if we're under threat, or we can be faithful if we're in captivity. The message is the same. Stay true, and eventually all things will be made right.